myself sick.
Hello, welcome to After TCGS, the show after the show about the show. I'm your moderator, Bryson Wallace, and you know, at one point this show used to be a recap of what we saw on TCGS last week, or this past week, but we've had such barn burners of guests recently that we haven't even talked about what's happened on the show. We've just talked about our guests, and this guest this week is no different. Please help me welcome to the show, Murf Meyer. Murf, welcome to the show.
Hello, Bryson. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for doing it. I just starting out off the gate, I want to address something that everybody mentioned when I asked for questions from fellow Geth heads and Gethard show fans, is that the beard is looking amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yes, this kind of looks how I feel inside. You know, a little scraggly, a little haggard. You know, I let it fly out for the winter, and then I just kind of kept it. I've had the mustache on the show for quite some time, but it was time to just kind of let it all loose.
Awesome. Now, the show was on hiatus for a little while here in between the fall and the startup of the spring a week or so ago. What were you up to during your hiatus?
Well, let's see. Doing a lot of drinking. I got pneumonia.
Really?
So I've been chain smoking. I was a smoker for many years, and then I quit on and off, and I was trying to cut down. But yeah, leading up to the hiatus, I had been chain smoking a lot, and you know, it just catches up to you at a certain age. So I had pneumonia, so I had to kind of just hang indoors for about a month till that got better. So there was that, and then me and my lover went to Mexico, took a trip, and then
lovely.
What else? Yeah. That's probably, those are the highlights. Pneumonia in Mexico.
Damn. Well, I'm sure like both sides of the token, right? You had some good, you had some bad, you take it all, and there you have hiatus.
We got those facts. The facts of hiatus. Yes.
Awesome. Looks like we got some people joining us. Leah says, nice map of PA behind you.
Yes. Oh, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Yes. That's where I'm born and bred. Is Leah from PA?
I don't know. I could click into her, but I'm afraid of screwing shit up. I should say that my internet, like late last night and this morning, was acting up, so I am in constant fear of this cutting out at us at any point, Murph. And if it does, I apologize.
No sweat. Look, I mean, as we were talking about before, I was barely able to get the hell on Google Hangouts. I don't know exactly how it operates, so. You're running on all cylinders as far as I'm concerned.
You should see how many screens are in front of me. It's stupid. Leah says that she is from the Commonwealth.
Excellent. What county?
Well, listen, you're talking to her yourself at this point. I still got to figure out how to take phone calls on this dang show. I've got it like 90% figured out. I just need to create not a feedback loop for people. Oh, you're doing a full-blown close-up.
I am giving that close up. Yeah, I'm Luzerne County, which is
up that way.
Right there, number 11, Luzerne. Yep, northeastern Pennsylvania.
And Leah is saying that she is from Allentown.
Oh, Allentown, yes. God bless Allentown.
I'm assuming now. See, my facts are not completely straight. Can you confirm for me? Is that the Allentown of Billy Joel fame?
It sure is. Yeah,
it
that
sure
was the
is.
one Billy was singing about.
Okay.
Trying to, glorify it as much as possible. There's a lot of parts of Pennsylvania that were once glorious and are now, once coal disappeared and all that. It's a rundown part, so I feel for Allentown.
Yeah.
Allentown's also always got shit on as like the scumbag cousin of Philadelphia,
Oh, really?
That's kind of a thing people throw around. Leah, I don't know if that's what people in Allentown say, but that's what they're saying about you.
Let's see. There's people are talking too much. I can't even keep up with it. Well, I do know that we had one other PA question, which was, let me see if I can find it here. Favorite dive bar in Northeast Pennsylvania from Sean.
Oh, what my favorite one was? There was an amazing place, the Hourglass, which was Donahue's Hourglass is what it was. That was a great spot. There was a
not of Phil Donahue.
Gentleman named yes, Phil Donahue ran his daytime talk show. He had skinheads on talking all sorts of trash. It was Joe was a guy who ran it. It was an old guy. That was a spot I used to go to a lot. Foofs was another place, Left Foofs it was called, to try to make it a little fancy. where Foof was a bartender. He used to be shirtless, always behind the bar. So I think that's why he made it La Foof, to give it class it up a little bit.
Yeah, give it a little bit of a tinge.
Boylan's was an old school place that my father and brother both bartended at for many years. Also, it's like you just piss out the window and you're going to hit a dive bar in at least Luzerne County, where I'm from, Wilkes-Barre and Kingston, that area. There's one on every corner.
Yeah, well, I mean, by the same token, a good buddy of mine, fellow Geth head Cade, recent transplant to New York, he was wondering to get your opinion on best dive bars, or he says casinos, in and around NYC.
Oh, yes. Oh, man. They're down to like 5 casinos that I think are operating.
Yeah.
When we went down there to shoot the video for the show, it is slowly. I used to love the Tropicana. We go to the poker room at the Trop a lot. But yeah, a lot of those, I mean, the Trump's shut down, and I think Bally's is like combined with someone else. It's almost a ghost town. We also went down on a Monday night. So.
Oh, is that when you guys filmed the Atlantic City deal?
Oh yeah, one of the sadder evenings to hit the casino floor. It's nothing but motorized scooters and 150-year-old chain smoking women at the slots. So it was, it wasn't an ideal night to be down there. But yeah, it's a sad town. It's kind of slowly lost all of its luster, if it ever had any luster.
Yeah. Now, since you mentioned it, talk to me about that trip to Atlantic City. And that, I mean, generally that episode altogether was kind of the largest Murf arc that we had this past fall. What was that like, going to Atlantic City? I mean, we can assume most things with the show are genuine, and it seems as though you guys are just taking the show's budget out there. What was that experience like for you?
Well, playing with house money is always, always a thrill. So yeah, I think me and Gethard are both kind of degenerates. He's been off the sauce and the drugs for many years, but he still enjoys gambling. So I think the two of us have always, enjoyed gambling back and forth. Sometimes at the show we'll have office pools based on certain things. If we think, when's the first time this is going to happen, or when will a caller. So there's a lot of degenerates in the office that like to gamble. So I think just that started to work its way out of like, what if we took the show's budget for the act that they have at the end? And I think at that point they had purchased Gethard's tombstone.
Yeah.
With like that money, they purchased the Geth Press 3000 equipment. Whatever they end up splurging that budget on, we were able to convince the network to give us that money to try to go down to Atlantic City and double or triple it, and then do a really big episode.
Yeah.
But the roulette table was not kind to us very early on, so
alas.
We didn't double or triple. We just lost it all. And Royce, I don't know if this didn't make it in, but Royce, who works on the show, from
one of the twin turns.
One of the twin turns, yep. One of the Wilmot brothers. He, when we went down there, said, "Why don't you put it on 00?" And we're like, well, we don't want to put everything on one number. We made a big movie the first time, put like $500 down on black, and it landed on 00. Damn. Which would have meant that, So Royce had he had it right, and if we would have listened to him, I think we would have been like 30-some grand. We would have just instantly won.
I mean, has Royce just been living off of that being right for like ever since?
Oh yes, yeah. The shit-eating grin on his face the rest of the time we were there was pretty great. Yeah.
Now you mentioned in this week's show, speaking of money, because we're all about that cash here. You mentioned on this week's show that New York is shaking you down for $800. What's going on there?
So, all right. So years ago, I had a stretch where I had multiple Social Security numbers because the Social Security Department gave me, when I was born, someone's a duplicate number of someone who already existed.
Okay.
So I didn't find this out until a little bit later in life. And then I tried to juggle, what can I do if I have someone else's Social Security number? But I had to eventually go to the office and get a new one.
Yeah.
So since I have a new one, there's a lot of troubles where people look at it and they're like, well, you're supposed to be old, but you're only, I think it was in 2002, maybe I got this new number. So there's a lot of things that has thrown off, including the taxes. So in 2013, I had an issue with back taxes. I finally settled it with the IRS and New York, but the IRS didn't let New York State know because you also have to be there, secretaries keeping the records and do all the work for them, other than just trying to keep them from shaking you down.
Yeah.
So they didn't let New York State know that, and the interest on that has built up to $800.
Damn.
I've spoken to them on the phone about it multiple times. It should have been handled. The IRS, finally, I settled with them for whatever, and now New York State, I just get a letter that they're garnishing my wages. So there's that to deal with. So now there's no reasoning with them. They're apparently still just going to try to strong arm me for this $800 now, which is more the principle at this point.
And all of this boils back down to the Social Security number issue, huh?
There was a problem in 2013 where, yeah, I mean, there's more. Part of that's on me too. I tried to play a little game where I was, it's nice to have two identities, just in case one goes in the shitter. And also, my luck too. I couldn't have gotten someone's identity who was very wealthy. The person that identity who I had was also in debt.
Yeah. With
certain, they had cars repossessed, and at the Flamingo in Vegas, they had run up some debt. So
you were hoping to skip town on somebody else, but you had another person who was skipping town screwing you over.
Who was already, yeah, exactly. So we're both just, but between the two of us, we don't, we're not, our credit's not worth a damn. So now they haven't split it. So they gave me a new one, but they transferred some of the shit from his to mine. I mean, I don't know if you've ever really dealt with a federal agency the size of the Social Security Department, but oh my, it is howling at the moon. There's really nothing more to say about it than that.
I don't fully understand because I haven't lived it myself, but I feel for you, and I hope that all shakes out in some way.
Oh yes, well, I mean, they're just going to start taking my money. So now every throw I do on the show is, a little kickback of that goes to the state of New York.
Little digs. Now, your throws at the top of the show. I was in the studio for the episode where you had gambled away all the money. And somebody was also mentioning in the chat last night while we were watching the show that your throw at the top with the theme song, it is so chaotic in the studio. It is so loud at that moment that the audience can't hardly hear you, can't hardly hear Chris starting off at the beginning. What is the top of the show like for you when you're, the most recent episode's going on your long rants, but any of the tops of the show, how is that chaos for you?
I like the energy with the band playing, and it's one of the few times I feel that I can. I kind of know. I mean, it used to be the very set. The intros and everything were all very similar, so we kind of had that down to a science after a while. But I don't know if you mean from watching the show. If you notice, sometimes I get a little loose. The prompter evades me. I forget which camera or lose my place or whatever. But for those, it was always kind of fun because the energy kicks off big.
Yeah.
And that's why also screaming into a microphone is fun. Because if there wasn't a big band there, you can kind of just talk like a normal human being. But it's always fun when there's so much energy to just, really let loose.
Yeah, you're absolutely ripping it. And it's more so, I just was curious as to whether or not you can even hear yourself in that moment. But I guess what you're saying is you're just screaming.
You just go. I've stopped listening to myself a long time ago.
What was the moment like in the dating episode? Because you had the aspect where I believe the studio audience had all left, or Chris at least and Ellie went downstairs to the singles room. And they threw back to you to throw to commercial. And it's my favorite animated GIF that's ever been put out of you just at Murf and Turf, and you're just all cool, calm, and collected. And then you just shout, "What?"
Yeah. No, so somehow the audio when they were down there was not being patched into the studio. So Gethard was saying, Murf, get us out of here. I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Jersey Dave just came sprinting over to a camera and just pointing frantically. So that's when I think that caught my eye, and that was a very earnest what? I don't know what. I was like, oh yeah, right, okay.
It was beautiful because you had the couple on either side of you that was slightly jiggling and dancing. It's such a good Murf tableau is all I'm trying to say.
Yep. Absolutely. It reminds me of that pile of garbage, the old video Bill O'Reilly when he's has his meltdown on the fucking thing sucks.
Yeah.
We'll do it live.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that might be the only possible thing that I could ever empathize with Bill O'Reilly on. But now dealing with prompter stuff is it's funny when it goes off the rails for some reason. You just are just kind of turn into mush mentally. You're like, well, now I don't know. A robot was telling me to speak, and the words were there, and now they're gone.
Now, legitimately, are you fucking with Chris because these past 2 episodes he's made mention of like, Murf, you're going way off prompter, like let's not get into this sort of thing. Is that you kind of jabbing the boss a little in the side?
Well, I think he likes it. I think the one thing they don't love is that True generally prefers to clear the script. Anything that is scripted, most of the show isn't, but the throws, the writers get to write jokes and stuff, and they'll give me a lot of leeway if something happens in the moment to do a callback for a throw or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, for the openings, the True does like to know certain things that might be scripted. So the fact that I'm going off there is, I think it's time. We've been doing this show long enough. Sometimes things just, you got to go off the rails. As long as I don't go too far or say, maybe disparage Mr. Ted Turner in some way or, something too specific, they might not love that. But otherwise, it's just a drunk lunatic screaming. So
you've been walking the line, which is what you've been tasked with doing. And it's working out great. Benjamin asked, what was the vibe with the cast after this week's show?
It was fun. I had a little bit of came down with a cold, so I didn't really get to hang after. A lot of times you need to unwind a little, just blow off some steam after building up to a live episode. But this week I didn't really hang out much. So I think people have been having a lot of fun. Like I said, I think it took us some time to find our footing with the different formats, moving with the half hour first on Fusion, then the hour, but it was live to tape. So it doesn't have that same energy. So now I think just it being fully live, I think that's where, we're back to our kind of public access roots where you do just get to, you one run at it and you go and then, you blow off some steam afterwards. So usually people are still a little wired after a live hour of television.
Yeah. Well, and last night just felt so public access, like in all the great ways.
Yeah. I'm interested to hear what people did think about that. I haven't watched last night yet, but yeah, those for me do feel like the best episodes because it really is insane that this program started there and that we were able to, keep moving it up to a bigger and bigger audience. And the fact that a network that reaches however many households Ted Turner reaches is giving a live hour of television to people calling in and basically doing very close to the version of public access. It's kind of insane.
Yeah. The fact that this has found the footing it has in, like, it was underground most certainly, but now it's got much more of a platform. A lot of people asking, how's Diana?
Diana's doing great.
Yeah.
She was wonderful. She's actually here in the room right now. She just did one of these. It was an Oregon Lotto.
That's all we need. That's all we need.
Yep. It's cold in our apartment often, so she's got a wrap bundled around. She kind of has like a babushka. Yeah, she's bundled up to. Yeah.
Let's see here. A lot of people asking, we kind of went over it with what you've been dealing with the state of New York, but a lot of people in the comments beforehand asking, Murf, you okay?
Day by day. Some days all right, some others not so much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we're all a little, what's the word? I don't know. Feeling a little funky. I don't know. Yeah, there's something in the air. I don't know. And I feel like I'm just taking a moment with this one and really thinking about it. Okay. No, I don't think I am. But
you don't think that you're okay, and that's fine.
No. I had to just do 5 seconds of soul searching there, and no. My self-medication regimen ebbs and flows. So with each day, you just try to make it to the next one.
Yeah, no kidding.
How is everyone else out there? What's the general?
You guys
vibe?
tell Murf in the comments. How are you guys doing? It might shuffle down all of the other new questions that I've got, but I've got other ones. Everybody tell Murf in the comments how you're doing, and I'll report back to you, Murf.
Yes, please.
People want to know if you'll ever consider growing the hair back. The new look is good, but people are missing the bun. Mary asks.
I had to get to that low pony. I think this is still a little too short to get into this is like a tiny rat tail
Yeah.
situation we got here. So yeah, I think I'm just going to keep growing it. I haven't cut it in a while, so I haven't touched the beard or the hair. So we'll see.
Yeah, getting all sorts of good scraggly. As a fellow beardsman myself, although very like thin in certain areas, it's a process.
It really is, and the maintenance of it. Sometimes you're just like, if I don't, these things they start to stink, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, you get random debris in there, and yeah, I think it's because they sell beard oils and all that. But I'm like, what in the world do I want to be shampooing and oiling my beard?
Well, this didn't need to become beard talk, but I'll go there with you.
Yours looks nice. I mean, this is a low resolution with the situation I'm looking at, but under this light, you look magnificent.
Thank you. I usually keep it real scraggly, and I just let it grow out because I was initially a little bit intrigued by the Wyatt family in WWE that just had like big, bulbous beards, and I was like, that's a great look. But I had a wedding recently this past weekend, so I had to
Trim down a little.
Trim them edges. I had to do some hedge work. But yeah, the oils and all that stuff, I did that for a short while, and then I was like, this is an expensive habit and doesn't feel like it does anything.
No, not really. And just trying to maintain. That's why I like with the show too, is they kind of just let loose. I don't really do hair and makeup much because there's not a lot of fussing to do, and I'm a sweaty bastard. So by the time we get out into the lights and I'm shouting and everything, it's like let's not worry about putting foundation on this mess.
Now, speaking of your look on the show, a lot of people, R.E. Clifton was asking in the comments about your fashion inspiration. The suit game has been strong on the show. Where are those coming from? What's your inspiration? Where are those looks being pulled from?
The vintage suits I've kind of just been picking up slowly over the years, for many years. Even started in high school, different. Salvation Army, if I see a cheap one, or Diana's from Portland. So going out there, they have amazing vintage stores that haven't been as picked through as they are in New York. So I found some great pieces over the years. And if you get a great vintage suit for, $30 or $40, you get it tailored if it's a little bit too big. And, all told, you're $100 for, a great looking suit. So yeah, I've kind of just been slowly acquiring them over the years.
Absolutely. There was a mention of, let's see if I can find it real quick, Nudie Cohen or Cone. I'm not familiar, but that was a name dropped by some Geth heads as like, they were like Western suits that have like very flashy embroidery and bejeweled aspects on them.
Sure.
So
yeah, it's that
was a name
it's
being
like
dropped.
It's like a Reno car salesman.
Yeah.
There's
it's like the bad guy in the Muppet movie. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Nailed that one.
The oil man, the dandy oil man.
Let's see here. We went over the dive bars. This was a whole section that I needed to address with you. People asking about the Order of Gimghoul. It's listed as permanently closed on Google. I don't
Wait, permanently closed.
Yeah, if there people were posting the screenshot of Order of Gimghoul's entry, and
I don't buy that for 1 second.
So this was a question from R.E. Clifton. Do you think this is just an attempt to distract the public? Are the higher ups at Google looking to protect the order?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were controlling their own. What is that, SEO? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that part of, I don't know.
We don't understand what it is, but yeah, the SEO.
Yeah. So Gimghoul's got their hands over that. It's not surprising to me that they're trying to say they're closed, though, because they don't want people poking around up there. But there also have been a ton of shenanigans. I mean, for as much as that was, I would say going off half-cocked in terms of we didn't have a budget or a research team or a lot of resources, so we kind of just went up there guns blazing and said, well, we'll just try to, call people out as we go and figure this out. But that did come from something that is very truthful, and that's something that someone said to us when we were doing a show there. And I know that kind of shit goes on. And I know that there's been a lot more light shed on it as of recently. So I'd be very interested to know if they did in fact shut that place down, because there's secret societies with the elite of anywhere is, they're up to no good. If they're not drinking baby's blood, you don't want to say conspiracy theories and they're sacrificing things out there. They're at least being inappropriate with the underclassmen they bring up there and get drunk and have their own parties. I mean, that's almost a given with any. Were you in a fraternity?
I was
Any
not.
frat people out there?
No.
Just frats in general.
Frats,
I've always something about it, something about the whole culture of it. I'm willing to generalize here and say that that's, leads to some shenanigans.
Yeah. Now, Mary in the chat asking if you think there are any correlations between Gimghoul and Big Man 6.
Ooh, interesting. Would they if they've infiltrated the show? I mean, what do we have left? That's all we have. I mean, they knew it was us going up there. We put signs on their door letting them know it was the Chris Gethard show. So they are aware of us. And I've received many a weird email over the years.
Are you still receiving,
that I wasn't
recently?
sure about. Yes, recently. Actually, when we went to True, I've got about 4 or 5 emails that came through my website.
Yeah.
Just have a contact thing there so that people have sent me about Gimghoul. Some of them seemed a little suspect. Some of them were threatening, but others are just like, oh, yeah, come on down. We want to go up to the castle with you. But I don't know. I don't respond to the Gimghoul stuff because I just never know who it is that's sending what. They sent letters to my house at one point, so they knew where I lived. This was in the very early days. But yeah, Big Man 6, I hope not. Of all the theories of Big Man 6, that one just...
You hope that's not the case.
It's the grossest one I've heard.
Now, people reporting in as to whether or not they're doing okay. You're asking Gethhead, so we're getting a whole swath of people are doing okay. Some people are struggling to stay above water, but they're doing all right. They got some people with a lot of anxiety about love and loneliness lately, but I'm not in the best at the whole dating thing, is what Mary says.
Not in the best what?
She says struggling with love and loneliness, anxiety in those areas, but she's not the best at the whole dating thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is I don't think anyone really is. I think when you try to force it, it's always awkward. So it'll come to you. If you force it, it's never going to work anyway. So that just ends in a bitter... I think Mary will be fine. Yeah. I've never met her, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that she's going to be fine.
Okay.
Love will find her.
Yeah,
Dating's
exactly.
Fucked up and weird.
Now, I didn't mean this to turn into the Murf advice hour, but Thomas is asking, do you have advice for someone who's a mess and desperately trying to get sober?
Ooh, yeah. It's different for everyone because... friends of mine swear by AA and NA programs. Didn't quite work for me. I at least was able to realize that I couldn't juggle opiates, so I had to put the heroin aside. I don't really know anyone who's great at recreationally using heroin anyway. That's one of the ones that's tough to just do here and there. But I think a lot of people who go cold turkey on everything would say no drinking, no whatever. But I've tried to find a regimen of self-medication that works for myself, that I'm not committing crimes to take care of it. Yeah. So how's that for advice? Yeah, try to find your regimen, brother. I don't know what it is, but if it's all cold turkey, then that's great. That works for a lot of people. But I tried to find a little sneak way around that one.
Yeah. Well, like you're saying, is like there's no one size fits all, I guess is the way to say it.
Not like the AA pamphlets would lead you to believe.
Yeah. Let's see.
Jesus Christ works for some people. I don't know. Some people get very into Jesus
true.
Christ.
Mary saying that she was in a sorority and she can confirm that there are many shenanigans.
Oh yes.
Let's see here. Now, let's see. We covered that. All right. Some people asking about your experience. You tell me whether or not you want to go into this at all, but your experience in the open parentheses, close parentheses class.
Oh, I loved that class because it was, I was, kind of wet behind the ears at UCB. I hadn't been taking too many classes, and everyone else in that class was, far more experienced. So coming into it, I was glad that I just wrote a really funky email to Gethard, and he just took a chance and was like, yeah, let's just get this guy in here. I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
I learned a lot in that class just about supporting insanity. There were a lot of strange choices made in both the classes and then the actual shows. And I met Diana in there. So 2 kindred crazy spirits came together through that. So that was kind of the best takeaway from that. I mean, I love improv, but found the life partner in there. And Yeah, I almost broke my neck attempting a backflip on stage, which was ill-advised during a show. I just thought I could somehow pull it off. Thought I could will it to
Never attempted
just
before.
enough yes-anding.
Yeah.
No, I never tried one.
Yeah.
But they always looked awesome. A friend of mine was a wrestler in high school, and he could do them, and he used to do them all the time. I was like, that looks cool, but never tried one. And I thought I could at least land on my knees.
Yeah.
Maybe if not all the way around on my feet, but went on the neck.
Oy.
Yeah.
That's no good.
No.
Let's see here. Now, the one thing that I wanted to ask is on your resume, it touts rather, I should say, that you're a, quote, tremendous whistler.
Yes.
I wasn't aware of this. Any amount of demonstration that you'd be willing to do?
I'm gonna whet it for a second.
Oh, that's great.
There was a little something.
That's great. Hopefully it was royalty free. Otherwise, I'm going to get that YouTube strike.
Oh shit! Yeah, fuck. I think it was Katy Perry's Fireworks. So
Shit.
there's a topical. That's at the top of the charts right now. Right?
Yeah. The most modern song you could think of. Now, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I want to give you this opportunity. Is there anywhere like shameless plugs or any messages you want to get out to Geth Heads, the fan base at large? This is your opportunity to.
Just thank you, like just people like you and all the fans. I mean, this is a very strange experiment on television, I would say, as it started from a stage show and got to this point. So I think it's amazing the people who get into it and you kind of find your tribe, is what they always say. So I feel like that's how people becoming involved in the show, which completely includes all of the fans over the years who have been amazing. It's just it's awesome that there are people out there who are weird enough to take a journey with us each week and know that sometimes it's going to be strange, sometimes it's going to be funny, sometimes it's going to be sad, but you kind of the fans are just fucking awesome. All the podcasts and shows like this and people coming to the live audience is always awesome. So yeah, just thank you to everyone for taking this ride with us.
Awesome. Now, Menage a Trois, that's no more episodes of that, or can we expect more of that? What's going on there?
Oh, Menage, yeah, no, we took a hiatus for a little bit, but yeah, we're working on a lot of other projects. We got some other things in the works. We parlayed it into an IFC series that we did for it, so we got to do some stuff with that. So we're maybe seeing how we can keep evolving that. But yeah, the podcast not yet for now. But if we ever get John Waters, we've been trying to hook up with John Waters for so long. We would come out of retirement for John Waters in a second.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, Murf, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us. People are already thanking you in the comments. But thanks for doing this, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone else. Allentown, Pennsylvania.
See you, Murf.
See you, buddy.
All right. Well, hey guys, that was Murf. I want to thank him for doing it, for Diana for letting him spend his evening with us, and I want to thank everybody that submitted questions. There was a bunch coming in, so I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question, but it is always so great that you guys offer up everything that you want to know from our guests. So that was another great one. Thank you guys so much for doing it. I didn't mention it at the top, but if you enjoyed our intro music, that's courtesy of a Geth head. Jared Sparks is his name. The song is called Ambiguous off of his album Forget It by his band Don't. And yes, I'm reading it off of a thing. I don't care. Their Bandcamp is dontme, dontmi.bandcamp.com. Logo courtesy of R.E. Clifton. And if you've got anything that you want to contribute to the show, we want to make this like a group contribution thing, collaboration to do a fan-made after show to talk to all sorts of people that we admire from the show and get stuff all put together. So feel free to reach out to me if you've got anything that you'd like to contribute. Until next time, thanks everybody. We'll see you later. Adios. I ended too soon.
Eloise says, Persephone, please.